Hey Trinity family, Pastor T here, and as the coronavirus outbreak continues to spread across our nation, we as a congregation need to have a plan in place for how we're going to respond, especially as it gets closer to home. And I want to make clear that the purpose of this is so that we can move forward in a proactive posture of faith rather than a reactive posture of fear. It is so important in this time of crisis for we as Christians to maintain a courageous and compassionate witness to the gospel, especially in a world that is filled with confusion and anxiety and fear. And so it's in that spirit that in consulting with the Board of Elders, we've developed this plan and identified 4 critical actions for our church as we move forward. I want to lay it out briefly for you here. There's more details in the notes down below. The first critical action is a commitment to maintaining Word and Sacrament ministry, albeit in a creative and flexible way, accent on the creative and flexible. Look, guys, we're going to have to suspend our normal Sunday morning gatherings for the time being, at least through Palm Sunday. At that point, we'll revisit it along with the elders. But the fact of the matter is, it's just not safe, and it's not in the best interest of those, especially the most vulnerable in our midst. President Trump advised that there be gatherings no larger than 10, and even if that hadn't been the case, we need to attend in love to those who are most vulnerable. So we're going to refrain from our usual gatherings. But that being said, we're going to continue to provide Word and Sacrament ministry in a little bit of a different way. You can read more about that down below. The second commitment is to redouble our efforts attending to the vulnerable and the sick and the needy from our community. What a tragedy it would be if in this time of crisis we overlooked or forgot those who are already on the margins of the community. But I want you to rest assured that for me as pastor and the elders and other concerned members of the congregation, we're going to make sure that they continue to receive the vital spiritual care that they so desperately need. The third critical action that we as a church need to take is to continue finding ways to cultivate community in this time of social distancing. I know it's not going to be easy, but let's find ways, creative solutions for how we can keep connecting with one another. Maybe it's in a safe and responsible way through small groups. Perhaps it's through the computer, making phone calls, whatever it might be. We want to make sure that those bonds of community stay strong or even are strengthened through this time that we have to be apart. And the fourth and final critical action is for us to be a catalyst of care for our entire community. And to that end, we're going to be organizing a care team, which we made up of not only interested congregational members, but really anyone who wants to lock arms with us so that we can coordinate and mobilize the efforts to take care of the needs in our community as they arise. If you're interested in participating in that, there's a link down below for how you can take part of that. But the goal is, look, there's going to be all kinds of things coming up, whether it be getting groceries, whether it be just making phone calls, check in on people, all sorts of different ways to help. We want those efforts to be done in a coordinated way, working together for the sake of all those who are in need in our community. Guys, this is a time for us to keep our eyes fixed on Christ, the author and perfecter of our faith. It's going to take courage. It's going to take compassion. It's going to take creativity. But by God's grace and the power of the Holy Spirit, I know that we're up for it. And we need to be. Because, look, if in this time of crisis, God's people were to shrink back and just focus on self-preservation, then the world would receive this impression that, well, that's all that they really care about, looking out for themselves. And then not only would our reputation as Christians be tarnished, but it would defame the name of Christ. But look, when the people of God band together in courage and compassion in a time of crisis, then not only is our faith and fellowship strengthened, the world also receives an unmistakable witness of who God is and what he has done and what he is doing for us and for all. May he grant us wisdom and courage for the facing of this hour. The Lord be with you.